regardless and it doesn't bother you?
No, we roll up regardless. I don't think there's anything that you haven't seen in Test cricket before. It's going to come down to bowling on that area and batting with patience and trying to outlast them. I guess there's no real secrets behind those closed doors of the Indian sessions. We've seen a lot of them. We play with them all the time. We play against them. So there's no real secrets in international cricket these days.
Where would a series win here sit among some of the milestones you've picked up as a group over the last 3 years, few years?
Yeah, I think it'll be right up there. I think the added factor that it's a 5-test series and it's going to be a bit more grueling. I think if you win a series against India in any part of the world, you know you've earned it. So I think it's definitely it's right up there. Yeah.
Josh, what do you make of the fact that India coming after losing 3-0?
No, we haven't really discussed it. I mean, we've had overseas losses and then come home and played some good cricket. So I think professional players, professional sportsmen can put those losses sort of on the back burner pretty quickly these days and learn from it. In particular, when they're, I guess, out of India, they might be able to relax a bit more and not under the hype of a home test. They can get into Australia and sort of get out and about a little bit and relax and enjoy their freedom a little bit. And I guess the conditions being so different, it's sort of a fresh start as well. So I think they'll be hungry, they'll be ready to go.
Josh, you laughed about Marnus before in his bowling, but like you were bowling alongside him yesterday. Like, is he a legitimate option to pick up some overs in this stance? How's he bowling?
Yeah, absolutely. He's keen, that's one good thing. He's always keen to get that ball in his hand. He's keen to bowl some bounces, bowl length, whatever's needed, he'll grab it. So I think the ball had a little bit too much riding on it for what he's going to see in the game, but might be a bit older, a bit softer, but yeah, he's keen, which is the most important thing.
What do you think of his bouncer?
I think it'll be challenging, yeah. I think it's just slow enough that it's going to be, can't really hit it for 4 or 6, so put a few catches in play and we'll see what happens.
Good. Thanks, guys. I'd like to feel the bat on the ball a bit more than maybe they once did. I mean, leaving the ball seems to be something that people talk about a lot before a test series, but it's another thing to actually do it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what makes some of our players so great. I think Marnus and Smithy, probably in particular, are great levers of the ball and make you come to them. They know the bounce of the wickets in Australia. A lot of balls going over the top, so they're leaving on length. Some, I guess, touring teams can't afford that or aren't as used to that bounce, so they're playing a lot more balls that they probably don't need to. But yeah, I think guys generally want to feel bat on ball more than 10, 15 years ago, no doubt.
Josh, you spoke a bit earlier about being part of a winning quarterback squad. Does the series, like the experience as a player, feel different, or is the experience throughout it different? And I guess more like the question, what does it take to win a quarterback squad?
Yeah, it takes a lot. I still remember my first series when we did win 2-0. I played 3 of those test matches and I think they were really flat wickets. I bowled over 50 overs in all those games and I just remember being really sore and tight at the end of that series and I was like, geez, we earned that 2-0. That was tough. So I think it's going to be nothing different here. The wickets might be a little bit different, might be a little bit more helpful for the quicks, but they've got a great attack as well. But there are going to be some ups and downs in 5 tests, but I think just stay nice and level and consistent as we talk about and yeah, hopefully come out on top.
Josh, how much do you think the miss of Mohammad Shami in the Indian camp will how much they will miss them?
Yeah, he's obviously a class player. I think he's played 60-odd plus tests, sort of a senior player in their squad, senior bowler. A lot of the young guys look to him. But I think probably Jasper's taken that role a little bit in the last few years and I think he'll obviously maybe captain this first game and he's obviously a leader amongst the bowlers as well. So a few of them look up to him and yeah, he's obviously going to be missed, but I think again the depth and talent that India have across the board in all facets of the game is unbelievable.
Looking at this Indian batting lineup, most of these Indian batters, they are flamboyant batters. They hate facing dot balls. Do you see this as an advantage as an opposition bowling, as a bowling camp?
I think it can go both ways. I think if the wicket's doing a little bit, it might help us. But if the wicket flattens out and they're piling on the runs pretty quickly, it can hurt us as well. I think in general, Test cricket moves at a bit quicker pace than, as I said once, 10, 15 years ago. So a lot of the batters are similar in that regard.
Some of that supposed secrecy from it being
playing here at Perth. As you mentioned, the wicket's always a nice one to bowl pace on. It's bouncy, a few cracks later in the game potentially. So in particular, Perth Stadium I really enjoy. So yeah, looking forward to Friday. Absolutely. I know it's an experienced group, but to have Nath here as well, bit of young blood in the team. Yeah, it's sort of that first test of the summer is always really exciting. The first, the build in. We're here a few days out, get together, haven't seen each other in a while. So, yeah, it's always great to get the test group back together and everyone's pumped.
Know much about obviously do know a lot about the Indian team, but there is a bit of conjecture about who's actually going to be playing.
Yeah, they've obviously got a big squad here. A few injuries, I think, in the last few days, and Rowett's obviously missing the first test. So, yeah, there's a few little unknowns in the batting order, I guess. So we sort of had to go through a few players there in the bowls meeting, and I guess we'll find out on Friday who's playing.
First series. Your first series, you played in a test series win against India, but none since. How determined are you to get one back?
Yeah, very determined. I know there's a lot of guys in the shed that have never beaten India in a test series. Obviously, we've beaten them in the World Test Championship in England, but yeah, there's only a couple of us from that series where we won 2-0 way back in 2014, I think it was. So, yeah, everyone's really determined. It's sort of one that we need to tick off, I think, as a group in particular.
I think last time around Pujara was the one who troubled you guys a lot. How big a miss do you think it will be for the Indian team's perspective? And as an Aussie pacer, do you think it's going to be a good one for you guys?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy that Pooj isn't here. He's obviously one that bats time, makes you really earn his wicket every time. Has done really well in Australia on all these tours. So, yeah, I mean, there's always young, fresh guys coming into the Indian team that they're under so much pressure to perform in the Indian team with so many guys nipping at their heels all the time. So, whoever they pick in that 11 they're unbelievable players. So, yeah, it doesn't really matter who they pick. They're all great players.
Also, Shubman Gill is also exciting.
I mean, anytime you disrupt the top six, it's a bit of an issue. But I think, as I said before, the amount of talent in the Indian squad is quite unbelievable. The depth is phenomenal, better than any other country in the world, really. So, whoever comes in has earned their stripes, and no doubt will do well.
The Indian squad is saying that your top order is pretty vulnerable. What does that mean to you as a bowler?
I've bowled to them the last few days, and for a number of years now, they're pretty good players with pretty good records. So, yeah, I know they'll find a way for sure on whatever wicket, whatever conditions we get thrown up. I know last year there was quite a bit in all the wickets, so it was probably 40 average was really a 55 average. So the guys will find a way, and they're a great top six.
Marnus is bowling a little bit quicker than usual. Has he worked his way into the fast bowlers group chat yet?
He got added to one of the groups this morning. Didn't show up to the meeting. I don't think he was invited, so we had to sneak that one in before he knew about it. But he's welcome to grab the ball and have a bowl whenever he wants.
Josh, how much has the prep been geared, I guess, at getting you guys as quick bowlers through to the back end of this test series? It's 5 tests, not 4, and also obviously last couple of times you were here, the series was quite, I guess, attritional. You had to bowl a lot of overs.
Yeah, I think, well, this year I know we've had a little bit different build-up. There's been white ball cricket before the test series. We've played bits and pieces of that, which sort of was different for everyone, but we all got a chill game in except Paddy, which is, I know for me, quite welcomed. We haven't had the opportunity in the last probably 4 or 5, 6 years. So to get that chill game in, those repeated spells, long days in the field, all that sort of stuff, ticked off. Yeah, I feel in a really good place.
And how confident, I guess, are you that you'll feel good for Perth, but you'll still feel good for Melbourne, Sydney, the back end?
Yeah, hopefully things go similar to last year and end on day 4 every time. It's obviously helpful, but yeah, obviously we have Greeny last year. We don't have him this year, but we've got other guys to chip in here and there and bowl some crucial spells. Yeah, but I think it's a 5-match series. It's long. I think batters will take that into account when they're batting. It may be early in the series, but again, there's time off after Perth. There's time off after Brisbane potentially, so time to refresh hopefully in those breaks.